In the late 1960s, during the time of the Civil Rights Movement, young Latinx peoples, unhappy with their unequal treatment in society, looked for change. A man named Rodolfo or Corky Gonzalez, already making change with the organization Crusade for Justice, organized a conference for these unsatisfied Latinx youth. In March 1969, they came together for the first time in Denver, Colorado. By the end of the fifth day of the conference, the young Chicanos, now more political in their intentions, drafted El Plan Espiritual de Aztlan, or the Spiritual Plan of Aztlan. This plan helped create a common, positive, and self-representative identity for the youth who often only saw themselves as the negative stereotypes said about Latinx peoples. They began to change that negativity through self-empowerment and making narratives and stories about themselves and their histories. But what is Aztlan? Aztlan is a place of mythology from the Aztecs, located in the southwest region of what is now the U.S. Aztlan was used to show Latinx peoples that they were not the simple foreigners that white America showed them to be. The myth reminds them who exactly owned the land before the United States: the Mexicanos, the indigenous. And for that reason, the drafters of the plan declared themselves as a distinct nation within the newer borders of the U.S., with histories and identities to be proud of. Very important to the document was the young drafters' feelings about this idea called nationalism. Like how the incorporation of Aztlan allowed for a Chicano sense of belonging, the development of a nationalized identity as a common denominator or a common set of ideas helped to unify the diversity of La Raza, which is a mixture of European colonizer, African slave, and indigenous. This common denominator would be a key for the mass mobilization and organization, and would be a guiding document for the Chicano movement from oppression towards liberation. The plan also had 7 organizational goals: unity, economy, education, institutions, self-defense, culture, and political liberation. The drafters believed that La Raza needed to be united in order for change to happen. They said that economic control was very important for the liberation of Mexicanos because they needed to be in control of their own talents and resources so that they could not be exploited and abused. The push for relevant education was also important to the young drafters because how else, other than through history, can you know anything about yourself? Like education, they also believed that institutions with power in the community should belong and serve the people and not harass them, which happened a lot with state agencies like the Los Angeles Police Department. In response to this abuse by the state, like other organizations such as the Black Panthers, the drafters stressed the importance of self-defense by the community and for the community. The drafters also value culture as the most important thing to strengthen the identity and morality of the forming Chicano movement. So they said that a common culture unites La Raza towards liberation, and that the production of culture by artists is necessary to document and inspire the movement. Additionally, drafters looked for political liberation outside of the two-party Democrat versus Republican system, and instead looked for representation and advocacy in La Familia de la Raza. The following quote by Corky Gonzalez shows the importance of the unification of the Chicano movement through nationalism and the myth of Aztlan when he said, quote, "Nationalism exists, but until now it hasn't been formed into an image that people can see. Until now it has been a dream. It has been my job to create a reality out of the dream, to create an ideology out of longing. Everybody in the barrios is a nationalist. It doesn't matter if he's middle class, a vendido, a sellout, or what his politics may be. He'll come back home to La Raza, to his heart, if he will build centers of nationalism for him. Nationalism is the key to our people liberating themselves. I am a revolutionary because creating life amid death is a revolutionary act. Just as buildings nationalism in an era of imperialism is a life-giving act. We are an awakening people, an emerging nation, a new breed."